Hi there, John McAdams here with you. I'm going to quickly set the stage for this hunt. Now, I deer hunt out here in East Texas, and I have had a bunch of hogs move onto the land where I deer hunt since mid-November when we were last out there seriously hunting the place. Now, I have had hogs pretty regularly appearing on cameras since then, and I decided to make a trip out there to thin them out a bit. Now, there was a group hitting a feeder around 6 a.m. before the sun rises. So my plan was to arrive up there 5:30 a.m., sneak in, and then ambush them in the dark with a thermal. Since I figured I would probably be encountering a group of hogs in the dark and I wanted to take as many as possible, I decided to bring my AR on this hunt. So I have a OdinWorks upper receiver in 22 arc that I have mounted a Pulsar XP50 Pro thermal scope to, and I use a Banish 46 suppressor with it. I was using Hornady's new Precision Hunter 22 arc ammo with the 80 grain ELD-X bullet. This is the same bullet they load in the 22 Creedmoor. It's just not going quite as fast out of the 22 arc. They advertise 3,000 feet per second. This upper receiver has an 18-inch barrel. I was getting just under 2,800 feet per second with this ammo, but it shoots great in that rifle. I figured it would be perfect for this situation. So I headed up there as planned, but I had to deal with some unexpected rain. I caught a break in the storm, headed out into the woods on foot in the dark, but really nothing was moving, and I figured it was because of the rain. It looked like the weather would clear later in the morning, so I went and sat in a box blind overlooking one of my feeders that had received a lot of regular hog activity recently. And I was hoping that things would pick up when the rain died down, maybe something would come into that feeder. After sitting there a couple of hours, I heard a bunch of squealing and screaming coming from the west, and then this guy came in maybe 30 seconds later. Now, after I shot that hog, I waited about another 30 minutes, but unfortunately, no other hogs came in. I'll bet I heard him fighting with another boar over the rights to eat at that feeder that morning, and this was the guy that won. My shot was almost exactly 50 yards. As you can see, he was a good-sized, mature boar. But that little 80 grain ELD-X from the 22 arc certainly did a number on him. So I headed back on foot to get my vehicle to retrieve that hog. Now, even though it was light outside at this point, I continually used my handheld thermal to scan the woods for game on the walk back. Now, just as I reached the top of the hill, pretty close to where my truck was parked, I caught a glimpse of something hot off to my west. Now, with my naked eye, I could see something black over there, but it disappeared after a few seconds. So I started heading that way, and I turned on my camera on my thermal scope after I got a little bit closer. Now, as you can see, that turned out to be another hog. Now, I later determined I had spotted it about 200 yards away, and I carefully closed the distance. I left the camera on for that whole stalk, but I'll just play the boring parts where I'm moving and you really can't see anything on fast forward for you. Now, as you see here, there were trees and limbs everywhere, so it took me a little while to get to where I had a clear shot on this hog. As you can see, he was actually in a group of at least 3 hogs. I didn't even realize there was a third hog there until I was reviewing the footage later. Now, I could see this hog with my naked eye for most of this time, and I kept my attention focused on him so I wouldn't lose track of where he went, and I was only looking through the thermal when I was actually trying to shoot. Now, fortunately, he and his buddies were actively feeding, and I got a clear shot before any of them knew I was there. Now, as you can see, he was up on a small ridge with a drop off on either side of him, and he rolled down the other side after I shot him. Now, I took this photo standing where he was when I shot him, and you can see him down there in that little gully in front of me. Now, he wasn't as big as that other hog, but this was still another mature boar. And I'll bet that was a bachelor group of hogs I ambushed that morning, and those other two hogs I saw were probably also boars of a similar size. And they all took off for the hills after I shot this guy, and I never saw either one of them again. So who knows, maybe I actually heard one of them fighting with that big boar earlier in the morning. As the crow flies, I shot this second hog about 350 yards from the other hog that day. Now, the 80 grain ELD-X from the 22 ARC did a number on both boars. Both shots made very destructive wounds to those hogs. Both shots also exited. It also just so happened to work out that both shots were almost exactly 50 yards. Now, I'm pretty impressed with how the 22 ARC performed for me out there on that hunt. And I also really like this OdinWorks receiver and that Pulsar thermal scope. I definitely plan on using this stuff again in the future in this role. Now, do you have any experiences hunting with the 22 ARC? If so, let me know. Have you used it afield on any game, hogs, coyotes, etc.? Leave a comment on this video. Let me know what you have taken with it, what ammo you used. Let me know how it worked. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want more content along these lines, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you visit huntingguns101.com and sign up there for a free ebook on the best hunting calibers. Link in the video description and in the pinned comment. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and good hunting.